Previously on Taking You to the Bridge.
We marched in our generation, right? Sat in, boycotted. What does your generation consider the way to be an activist? The way to effect social or political change nowadays? Is it still kind of the old school stuff, or is it a new wave?
I mean, I think everybody is an activist in their own way. I mean, you still obviously have people protesting, and with the Black Lives Matter movement, a lot of young people are out there starting those movements and posting online. I think is another form of activism nowadays. That's my form of activism.
Everyone's an activist in their own way. That's deep.
That's
deep. For me, Zoom was a song by the Commodores, right? Zoom, I like to fly. Do you guys know who the Commodores were? Lionel Richie? Yes?
Yeah, Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie bridging the gap.
For real.
He bridging the gap for real. What would you say was the most challenging part for you?
I would say the most challenging part, and like I'm still going through it, is, and my friends are going through it too, is just trying to get into the job market.
Do you think that's due to the pandemic, or just in general? It's just.
No, yeah. Like affected by the pandemic. Like this time last year, I was interviewing with the Stars, the Dallas Stars. And I felt really good about it. Like, they invited me to a second interview, and then the pandemic hit, and they're like, okay, like, we're not hiring anymore.
You and I, we make it clear, we are men of faith. Right. God, Christ is a big part of our lives.
Absolutely.
For you guys, you both grew up in church, but as adults, how do you all view the church and religion, and how important is that to you at this point in your life? And for your generation period? All right, last time we ended our first half of our interview with you guys, we finished off with a question regarding the church and religion, and how do you guys view the church and religion as Gen Zers? And Jahara, if you want to jump in, you can tackle that one first.
All right. My opinion on younger generation and the church, I think one of the biggest things is that the younger generations tend to lose their faith as they get older. I think that biggest reason for that is that as we grow older and we experience more things, and we go off to college where we're immersed in a culture that's encompassing of all different backgrounds and perspectives, our mind expands and grows, our viewpoints grow. But necessarily we don't feel that the church opinions and tolerance grows with us. I think that a lot of young people view the church as really constricting and conservative, and that's not really what aligns with our encompassing and our inclusive generation.
And that's interesting, because there's some of our generation that would think the same thing.
I think so
that
too.
The church is very restrictive. So do you think that you find yourself falling away as you get older in this generation? Is the church just not as important as it used to be, so to speak, or is it just a matter of the individual?
I think it's an individual. Sorry, Elijah. I think it's an individual basis.
Okay. You were going to say something, Elijah?
Yeah. And I would say, like, going from St. Philip's, where we had like chapel every morning, and that was such a big part of going to school every day. And then going to a different school, going to St. Mark's, where that gets cut down to like once a week, having a chapel And then in high school, it was I think it was like twice a week in middle school and then just once a week in high school. That had a lot to do, just like the natural, just like slowly like drifting away. But yeah, but like Jahari said too, like uh, it's really conservative, um, and that's a big turnoff for a lot of people our age, I think. Um, and on top of that, like you see uh, religion used as a tool sometimes for like to push for like different like political uh, agendas and opinions and stuff like that. So um, yeah, I would say that that has to do with how we've drifted away a little bit.
So with that being said, is it still important to you guys, or what role does the church play in your lives right now, or religion?
I mean, yeah, I would say it doesn't play a huge part. It's not, like I don't have like any like negative like opinions of it or anything, but like it just doesn't play a huge part just because, like I said, just like the slow like moving away from it like over the couple years has just made it like not a big part of my life.
So do you think that it's because putting what you're saying and what Johari said together, is it as you get older, go to college in this generation, is it just not as accessible? The church not as accessible to you? I mean, Elijah, you'd mentioned in St. Philip's, shout out to St. Philip's, repping their hat over here on the side. You said just the frequency went down. Does that mean it's just not as accessible to you? Are there no outlets for you on campus, things like that, as you get older? Or is it just, you're getting pulled in so many different directions? Your time is just really limited.
I mean, I don't think it's I don't think that it's not accessible or it's time. I think it's an individual choice. They that a lot of young people don't seek it out. I think that it's there if they do. Like on my campus, there was plenty of groups and churches around campus. So if you wanted to, you definitely could if that's something you chose to do. But I think that it's a choice that a lot of young people make that is just not as important to them.
Would you agree with that, Elijah?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like, and like I still know, like some of my friends are still like very religious. But yeah, I just think it's just not an important part of a lot of people's lives who are our age at least. Yeah, I would agree.
Is that our fault, Mike?
I don't. I don't think so. I think it's just. I know when I was their age, I kind of drifted away a little
Right,
bit,
right.
you know. But I always knew what's the term, what side my bread was buttered on. Is that the right? Am I using that right? I don't know. But anyway, so in light of all that you guys said, when things get tough for you, what do you guys turn to? Who do you turn to? What helps you get through the rough times in your life?
Um, I mean, I would say my friends and you guys, like my parents.
Yay.
But it's not as spiritual. I would say it's just going to other people and like confiding in other people. Um, yeah, that's what I do. I would say.
Interesting. Jahari, how about you?
Um, Personally, I don't think that I've lost touch with my faith. I definitely don't go to church as much as I used to when I was younger, or even chapel in school. But I think that I still turn to my faith when um, I'm struggling with something. But also, like Elijah said, um, peers, friends, family, um, as well.
Interesting.
Thank you guys again for joining us. Really appreciate you, not only as our children, but representative of this Gen Z generation. Really giving us some insightful, intelligent, articulate answers and honest answers. So we really do appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks. See you guys later.
Welcome back, everybody. We're in the segment of our program called 50 Cents.
50 cents.
Because I think we have a little bit of sense, because I'm 50-something.
And I'm 50-something.
And I think between the two of us, we know a little something. So this is where we just kind of talk.
Right.
You know, what did we hear? What did we glean? Did it make any sense? What do you think?
Man, their response to our church question
Right.
was pretty insightful. It's interesting how they view it. And it begs the question, is the church at a place where they kind of need to reevaluate, if they want to grow and include these younger people? Because they obviously feel like the church doesn't have a growth mindset, it seems like.
Is it that the church doesn't have a growth mindset, or is it that the church is waiting for people to come in? Because as our kids go out,
Right.
they're going beyond the borders of our neighborhoods and our typical church environment, especially if they're going out of state, some out of the country. It sounds to me like they're just losing focus because it's not as readily accessible or readily present. Maybe that's a better term. It's not as readily present for them. And then it becomes something that's just kind of falls by the wayside. So to me, because I'm responsible for everything. That's my mentality.
Right.
Sometimes I gotta stop thinking that. But I'm like, man, does that mean that I did not do a good job enough of making sure I instill, as the word says, teach the children the way they should go, and then they will not depart? Did I fail?
I don't think so, because I think what they are being kind of critical of is organized religion and not the faith itself.
Right.
And I think that's what's not attractive to them, is the way the organized church operates and looks, and even some of the messaging.
Right. That made me think about our conversation with Kevin Walker
Yeah.
about being the Gen Zs being the generation of inclusion
Right.
and understanding, and some of the old world church environment being the environment of exclusion,
Right.
specifically when it comes to lifestyles and things like that. And it's not
Right.
it's not our place or position
No.
on this show to judge,
No.
but it just seems like their value systems are drastically different from the value systems, at least from our generation, in terms of the church.
And times are different.
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite honest, when we were their age, there was no LBGTQ movement.
I think you left out.
Did I get it all?
Yeah.
LBGTQ.
I think that's all
Okay.
the alphabet.
Don't judge us.
Don't write
We're
in.
trying.
Don't write in judging us.
We're not trying to make light of it.
Not at all.
We're
just-
really trying.
We're
here.
just 50-something men, and sometimes the alphabet doesn't
Right,
stick in the memory
right.
as well. But go ahead.
But that wasn't a thing when I was 20.
Was it not the thing, or is it just not as visually exposing because technology's changed? Everyone's got a cell phone. People are more inclined to just kind of come out now, so to speak, politically.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Right.
Right? It's
Right.
it's huge. So is it just that it didn't exist, or we just weren't aware?
Well, I'm not saying it didn't exist. I don't think there was this movement. There was
Wasn't a
no
movement.
organized movement to include
Right.
the different lifestyles.
Right.
If you participated in them, they were kind of done in the dark, in the shadows.
Yeah. Yeah, and people were made to feel like they needed to be in the shadow. So
Right.
we're getting into that's interesting, because if you if you take the concept of exposure from a technology perspective, from a
Right.
social perspective,
Yeah.
and all of the things that once upon a time were taboo in the church, not that they're not now, but
Right.
you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, it was done done under covers.
Yeah.
We're in the age of exposure.
Right. Everything's out there.
What man does in the dark
It's coming.
is coming to light.
It's coming to your smartphone.
It's coming to your smartphone. Yeah, so that kind of I had a light bulb go off. That doesn't happen very often.
Oh, you can't. You good?
Yeah. Yes. I'm a little blinded.
All right.
Right now.
Okay.
I need to put my shades on. Somebody toss me my shades.
All right.
But no, it's like, man, we're in the age of exposure. So those things are being shed, and not only is the new generation going to be held accountable as we go forward, but the church
Yes.
is what I'm hearing.
Right.
Is
Right.
and I'm going to include myself in that.
Right. Because we are the church.
Yeah. Amen.
You know?
We need to be more understanding and allow for people to express themselves. That doesn't mean we have to agree with everything,
Right.
right? But
Right.
God is a God of love, and there were times when He sat down with the quote unquote lowest of low, to coin a phrase, not calling anyone low,
Right.
But just when He sat down with the those folk and said, would you not sit and help, or would you turn a blind eye?
Right.
So.
Right. I mean, and I think we, the church, we need to kind of re-examine. We throw the term love around pretty loosely
Yeah.
as Christians,
Yeah.
but what does that really mean to us?
Right.
How does that look?
Right.
Like I said, I don't think love rejects or excludes or judges.
Love is just confusing.
It can be.
Love is just confusing.
Tina Turner said, what does love have to do with it?
It has a lot to do with it because the difference between difference between being in love and loving someone,
Oh, Lord.
right? That's a whole nother
Oh, my goodness.
episode. What do you believe in? It's a difference between loving someone and being in love with
Oh,
someone.
God. I think I'm going to tip out on that.
You gonna tip out on that
conversation.
one? Come on, man. You
Dude, that was so low.
come on, Mike. You a big old love bug.
Let's get Lionel Richie on here and ask him about what does he think about love nowadays?
Do we need to resuscitate?
Boy. We going to get to that one
We're
day.
going to get to it, and we're going to get Lionel on the phone. Lionel, if you out there, feel free to call in, brother. Not because we judging. We
No.
love you. Lionel, I grew up on you. But you doing some things in terms
Brother.
of bridging the gap
He bridging it.
that I need to understand, brother.
Bridging it.
Maybe not you. I'm single.
Yeah.
Yeah, you married.
I just want to listen.
Stay on your side of the bridge.
It ain't even no bridge on my side, bro.
I'm trying to get over the bridge, and they keep rolling the drawbridge up on me, and I keep sliding back down.
But I wonder on that bridge, what is that bridge taking you across, though?
What does that bridge
what's
take
under
you
there?
across? Oh, man. Sharks.
That love bridge. What is...
Man, there's alligators, sharks,
Oh, my God. I picture a fiery pit of...
Godzilla.
Right.
Godzilla's under the bridge.
The love bridge.
Love bridge. Whew. You know what?
Boy.
I think I might stay on the side with you, bro.
Brother, come on.
I might stay on
It's
the-
safe over here,
It's
man.
safe over there. I might stay on your side, man, and let the drawbridge stay up.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's really... We're going to have to get some of our pastor, reverend friends on here.
Yeah.
And just to get their perspective or their point of view as far as some of the comments.
Right. That would
we
be
heard.
great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Because I think that's definitely a gap that needs to be bridged.
Yeah.
Is a Gen Z and church, and church. I'm gonna go ahead and say church.
Yeah,
the church.
We've got to understand how the changes in society affect the changes in the church.
Right.
Shouldn't necessarily be that way. I'm not saying it's the right way,
Right.
but it's the reality of what happens.
Right.
We can't put our children in a bubble.
No.
We give them as much as we can give them, and then we send them out there and pray that they make right decisions and that, the Lord is protecting them.
Right.
But ultimately, we become the least influential sound in their ear at some point.
Right.
Right, their friends are more important.
Right.
Work is more important as they come out of college, like both our children, are. Elijah talked before about the job market and how the pandemic's affecting that. So, that'll be a good episode to have our pastor friends come on.
It would be.
Yeah.
Have a little church round table.
Have a little church round table, maybe do communion.
Yeah.
But we need
take up an offering,
Hey,
Avopod podcast.
Avopod podcast. Can I have all
love
y'all
offering.
All y'all giving the $50 stand up, please. and all y'all giving $100 stand up, please. No, I make fun of that though, because that was actually something that I read recently in a post that has turned someone off.
Offering?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she was giving everything she had.
Oh yeah.
And then it seemed, her expression to me was, it was like it wasn't enough because everyone who was giving more was getting praised more.
Right. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a real tough one.
Well, brother, that was a good show, man.
That was good, man. And you mentioned Kevin Walker. We got him coming up, and it's gonna be interesting to let people hear his side of the Gen Z discussion.
It's going to be very interesting. I am so excited to have him on our next episode. I think it's going to be very, very in tune with what we've heard from our Gen Zers.
I do too.
And which to me was he gave some statistics that were just
mind blowing.
Boom.
The Afro Bohemian snob.
Yeah.
Kevin Walker.
Cultural strategist.
Coming
on the next episode of Avopod. Well, Mike, once again, thank you, my brother, for being here and supporting us. Because, I'm 50-something.
And I'm 50-something.
And together we know just a little something.
Just a little something.
Peace.
Later.